Hey guys, Moms Against Medical Bullying. So I'm reading this book that I'm finding really fascinating. Crucial Conversations, Tools for Talking When the Stakes Are High. And it's actually really, I don't know, to me it's a really exciting book. Because I don't know about you, but like, I'm the type of person that if somebody, you know, says something offensive to me or wants to pick a fight with me or just says something derogatory, you know, my emotions run high and it's almost like my brain becomes confused, right? It's like I want to say everything and all things all at once and I don't know what to say. But I just know that I'm angry, right? And so this book in the like the first within the first chapter talks about how usually a crucial conversation will happen spontaneously. Like, you know, it's one thing to plan that you want to have a conversation with somebody and you write it out and you write your points so that you keep the narrative and stay to the points, and don't get emotionally off track. You know, don't go into fight or flight mode. But they make the point that these crucial conversations generally happen spontaneously, and how you can be kind of prepared for that by knowing some basic skills or principles. Um, so they talk about when this happens spontaneously, they talk about the physiological aspect that we have to work with, which is your adrenaline starts pumping, and that apparently they say that less blood goes to your brain. I don't know how true that is, but more blood goes to your limbs, supposedly, and you go into fight or flight mode, right? So, how do we deal with situations when this type of thing occurs? So, and they give some examples. Like, one example they give is of a woman in a meeting who, she is a boss or a supervisor over a group of people, and she wants the people over her want her to cut costs or whatever in her department or what have you. And one guy stands up and says, well, you know, um, you're trying to build a new office or something like that. And that's basically, he was saying that, look at you, you're spending all this money for this and you want us to like cut costs. Well, maybe all the costs, maybe that's what's raising the cost so much. So initially, the woman got offended, of course, because she's in front of all these people and she wants to save face. But then she kind of had an internal dialogue that kind of kept her on par. And so she thought, okay, what is it that I want here? What is my goal? Is my goal to win? You know, do I want to win over this guy right now and tell him off? You know, yeah, that's how we could feel initially. But is that going to help us in attaining our goal? Her goal was to help the company cut costs. So she addressed the concern and said that, you know what? Yeah, I wasn't aware that the furniture for that office was going to be that much. I'm going to look into that and I'm going to cut costs in that area. So because that situation kind of worked to her benefit, because they pointed out that everybody else in the department was dragging their feet because they were all thinking and being upset that, oh yeah, look at the boss or whatever, like she's getting a new office, like why should we try to cut costs where we're at? Well, that addressed those concerns for those people. So then in turn, because they saw her humility, they got on board and they started doing the same thing. So it was just effective for the company just to learn how to respond in a crucial conversation or time. So, yeah. I'm going to look at my notes for a second. So they say that when you're in the middle of this point where you want to fight or flight, to stop and ask yourself to return to dialogue, because the goal is with everything and everyone, if you can, is dialogue, which is having a meaningful conversation, sharing meaningful ideas. Give me 1 second. So, yeah, dialogue is the free flow of meaning between two or more people. So, and then he says there's this thing, right? What I imagine is like, say, between you and a person. They're speaking. Imagine the people, how I imagine it is imagining the people speaking into what he calls a pool of shared meaning. So there's this pool in the middle, and everybody is throwing in their meaning and their ideas into it. It says, each of us enters conversations with our own opinions, feelings, theories, and experiences about a topic at hand. This unique combination of thoughts and feelings makes up our personal pool of meaning. This pool not only informs us, but also propels our every action. People who are skilled at dialogue do their best to make it safe for everyone to add their meaning. As the pool of shared meaning grows, it helps people in two ways. First, as individuals are exposed to more accurate and relevant information, they make better choices. Hold on a sec. So it's about making sure that everybody's ideas make it into the open in a safe way, and for there to be a free flow of meaning. So when you're caught off guard, he says, ask yourself these questions in order to return to this dialogue, to this free flow of meaning. 1, what do I want for myself? 2, what do I want for others? 3, what do I want for the relationship? 4, how would I behave if I really wanted these results? So they say in this book that asking what we really want helps us to get refocused on the goal and helps our brain to turn back on instead of the fight or flight mode. And just to go back for a second, in the shared pool, when you share in the pool of meaning, you step away from defense and into dialogue. So no like running away, no arguing and debating. So generally when people don't know how to share meaning, yeah, they do one of those 3 things. Run away, argue, or debating. So when contributing into this pool of shared meaning, let's take, for example, in a bigger group, it gives the example of a board meeting. So, okay, so sucker's choice. Sucker's choice is when people think that they only have one of 2 options. Either to sit there silently and not voice their opinion in fear, that something bad is going to happen or that they'll get fired. So just be kind and be silent. And then the other option is stand up for the truth and be rude and honest. So sucker's choice supports attacking and retreating behaviors. So yeah, it supports either saying I'm going to attack or I'm going to retreat. And it stunts creative dialogue. So I'll just read a little bit more here on sucker's choice. So not only do sucker's choices set us up to take ineffective actions, but they close us down to change. They present our brain with problems easily solved with restricted blood flow. After all, if we are simply choosing between fight or flight, who needs much creative thought? They also keep us stuck in ineffective strategies by justifying our attacking or retreating behaviors. Why alter our behavior when we're the only ones savvy enough to keep quiet? Stand up to my boss? No way. Tell my spouse that her paternal style is too controlling? Forget about it. I'll pay for that for years. In a similar vein, why would you ever change when you think you're the only one around with an ounce of integrity? Somebody has to state the ugly truth. It's the only way I can look myself in the mirror. In summary, sucker's choices are simplistic trade-offs that keep us from thinking creatively of ways to get dialogue and that justify our silly games. So, basically they say, clarify what you really want. If you know what you want for yourself and others and for the relationship, then you're in a position to break out of the sucker's choice. Second, clarify what you really don't want. They give an example of a woman says, what I want is for my husband to be more reliable. I'm tired of being let down by him when he makes commitments that I depend on. What I don't want is to have a useless and heated conversation that creates bad feelings and doesn't lead to change. And then finally, ask yourself, or she asks herself, how can I have a candid conversation with my husband about being more dependable and avoid creating bad feelings or wasting our time? It's interesting to watch what happens when people are presented with and questions after being stuck with sucker's choices. Their faces become reflective, their eyes open wider, and they begin to think. With surprising regularity, when people are asked, is it possible that there are a way to accomplish both? They acknowledge that there very well may be. Is there a way to tell your peers your real concerns and not insult or offend him? Is there a way to talk to your neighbors about their annoying behavior and not come across as self-righteous or demanding? Is there a way to talk to your loved one about how you're spending money and not to get into an argument? So, yeah. That's about all I'm going to share on that. I'll probably share more as I go along.